Now that spring is in full swing here in Cajun Country, it is a perfect time for us to tackle some to-do list items that we haven't been able to even attempt with our previously saturated ground. As our yard gets drier, our sight set focus more on moving our closest neighbor, the fifth wheel.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Cajun Country Livin. It is officially spring down here in Louisiana, so that means that we have got to get outside and knock some things out. And as y'all heard in our intro, we are going to be moving the fifth wheel finally. But in order to be able to do that, we have to get some things done outside along with some maintenance stuff that we've been putting off.
We have neglected a lot of our outside stuff just because it is so hard to take the priority off of our house into this outside space, but we just have to force our hand, make ourselves do it, get out here and get all this stuff tidied up.
And we really need to decide on a place for our garden. We planted one last spring and the cows got out and ate every single last plant. So we kind of had a sour taste in our mouth to plant a fall one, so now it is going to be time for spring. Our wounds are healed and we are ready to try again.
We're probably going to try something new this year. We've never really done raised beds before, but I think we're going to go in that route this year and give that a shot.
I tried to get Jim to plant where we planted the flowers, our garden, but he said that was a no-go. I thought it'd just be easy access to the garden.
Yeah. The high temperature today is going to be in the mid-80s, and we are ripping and raring, wanting to take full advantage of it.
All right, let's go get our equipment.
For a while, let me feel alive. Nothing to hold me back. Take my time, just enjoy the ride. I know, man, passing by. Life is good, best I've ever felt. Get me up, somewhere new, somewhere I can find myself. Oh, I feel so alive. As I reach out to the sky. I found my way. I was in the dark against it all, but made it through the day. 'Cause I found my way. In bad times, I know I'll be okay. 'Cause I found my way.
What happened?
I got stung.
By what?
I couldn't really see what it was, but I'm just glad that it didn't get in my mouth.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, it's got puffed up there, huh?
Love that.
I was in the dark against it all, but made it through the day. 'Cause I found my way. In bad times, I know I'll be okay. 'Cause I found my way.
Whenever we moved our camper over to this spot, because we knew we were going to have to be here to build on the house, this is where the camper has lived ever since. Originally, we were going to build our shed first and put a room in the back, and then from where the house is now is going to be a shed, and then the carport, and then the house. But last minute, where we had done the dirt work for the shed, we decided to go ahead and build our house.
So obviously the dimensions for our shop would have been a lot smaller than the house. And we had gotten some rain, so moving the fifth wheel wasn't really an option before we started on the house. We could either wait for it to dry up and then start on the house, or we could just go ahead and start on the house and hope for the best.
And whenever you've lived in a camper for 3 years, you are just itching to get your house started. So whenever we started on the actual house build, we didn't know how close the roof was actually going to hang over to the RV. We added in, I think, around a foot, which ended up being, I don't know, maybe 3 inches. But we're really lucky that we were at least able to get this tent up. Now I'm going to show y'all, but right here we actually couldn't even finish the soffit or the J-channel. There was absolutely no way to be able to reach up in there and get this completed, so that put that project on a standstill.
So throughout this whole building process, this RV has been both a blessing and a curse. Blessing being we could stay right here. We were really close to the house project. I mean really close. But you have to keep in mind this land was pasture. But right here where the house was at, we hauled in large quantities of fill dirt to fill in this area before we ever got started on processing the foundation for this house.
And it was one of those things that we used to joke about all the time of, we're working on nap time. That was not a joke. We would get enough done during nap time to be able to come back outside and work once bedtime approached and try and get as much knocked out as we could while we had enough daylight. So being right here has been an absolute blessing, but it is time to get away from here. We have not been staying in the camper now since September, and it has been amazing to be in the house for the past 6 months, but now it is time to get this lovely eyesore out of here.
Now there's been a million times where we would have loved to have been able to attach the truck to this RV and just simply back it up a little bit. But by the time we got to that point, we already had the concrete poured for the house. We didn't want to be backing one tire up on the slab and the other tire off of it and take a chance of damaging something. And so now we have to really think of something outside of the box to be able to get to the point to where we can get the RV back enough to where we can hook up to it. And this seems really simple, but the hitch is like 2 feet from the house, and the overhang goes actually over the front of the RV. The RV is so close to where whenever they actually spray foam the rafters, we didn't have the soffit in, it blew spray foam on top of the camper. That's how close it is.
And even if we would have wanted to take the chance to back the truck over the slab wasn't necessarily what we were worried about. We would have had to figure out a way to get the truck level, because being able to hook up to that hitch, you have to have everything set just right, and it was honestly dang near impossible. Which this is also going to be too, but you know, this one at least is good. It's going to be more fun.
So now it is time for us to engineer, design, and construct the hootest of all hootises.
Y'all like that?
It's got a ring to it though.
That was like a commercial ad.
Yeah, it was. Well, anytime you got to get your RV out of a tight situation.
Call Captain Crocs. For the record, I got some nicknames too, but they're just not as cool as Captain Crocs. Okay, we're gonna get started on figuring out exactly what we're gonna need to build this ginormous hootis, and let's go figure it out together. We have got to get our jet ski up and running this year, you know that?
For the second time.
Whenever we got that jet ski, what y'all don't know is it had literal pine trees growing through it, in it, everywhere. And Jim somehow managed to fix it and get it up and running. I recovered the seat and it was good to go, shockingly.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was given to us, and it was in the woods, and it was covered in leaves, full of water. Like she said, there was legitimate pine trees where you put your feet. We cleaned all that up, and man, those things are really well put together. It took a little bit of love, but we got it going. But it's just been sitting back here, so the more it warms up, the more I'm ready to dig it out and get it fired up.
All right, and we are back in the Cajun Country scrapyard. And it seems that we have found a winner.
You know, it's amazing. With a little bit of creative thinking and a big stockpile of junk iron, it's amazing what the brain can start dreaming up.
Okay, so what you thinking here?
I'm thinking that this is gonna work. The dimensions is what we need. It's long enough. We should be able to fabricate what we need.
You know what I love? You pick like the one thing that's on the bottom
Well, of course.
of all this stuff.
That's where all the good stuff is, on the bottom, because it's not easy to get to. Nobody wants it.
Oh man. All right. Guess we can start taking everything off one by one. Well, you want to tell them our idea yet, or you want to make them keep waiting?
Oh, of course not. This is worth waiting for. Man, we're finding all the good stuff today. Look, it even works. Don't have to heat it up with a torch and beat it loose or nothing.
So you're a little dirty there, buddy. Brooks originally had a very city lifestyle before we got him, so being out here in the country is all new experiences to him. Just like that turtle the other day, he found out real quick that that was not a friendly animal. Huh, buddy? Huh. So this is what a typical fifth wheel hitch looks like in case you've never seen one. You usually put it in the back of a truck and the kingpin slides right into this groove and it latches. Well, maybe with a little bit of WD-40 it latches. But this is what we are still gonna have to use, but it's just figuring out how to get this fifth wheel hitch onto, oh my Lanta, what are those? Is he biting you?
It was.
Oh no, what is that?
Army ant.
Oof.
Oh well. Lucky for me, they don't eat much.
Lucky for you, you're Captain Croc's.
You can't hurt my feet, I'm Captain Croc.
But this is what we are gonna have to figure out, how we're gonna attach this to make our official ginormous hootis. Once we picked out what type of metal we were going to use, we knew that we were going to have to do some welding to ensure that this hootis holds up. Now y'all keep in mind that this is not just a bumper pull style of camper, this is a fifth wheel, 15,000 pound at least camper. We knew whatever we were going to build, we had to build it with strength and durability. Once Jim got the whole structure tacked in place, we brought the hitch up to do some final measurements. Loudly, you want to catch some turtles?
So this morning we came down to the pond because the other day, whenever we found that snapping turtle in our front yard, we realized that we have got to get a hold on all these turtles that are in the pond. I've tried to video a few times all the turtles that we see, but of course by the time I get close enough to be able to show y'all, they go under. But at times there's between 10 and 15 turtles just hanging out right on top of the water. So we have got to get this under control.
Okay, so like Lydia said, we have our pond stocked and it has become overrun with turtles, and turtles eat a lot of fish. So the most efficient and humane way that we found to get the turtles out of your pond is to set a net. And we're gonna set this net and the turtles will go in it, then we'll take the net out and then we'll go relocate the turtles somewhere else. Maybe somebody else's pond. So the way we're gonna do this is we're gonna tie the net to this fence post, stretch it across the corner of the pond. We're gonna leave the back of the net up out of the water. That way when the turtles go in the net, they'll still be able to stick their head up above the water and breathe.
And for bait, good old dog food.
There's a few more things to check off the list before we could move the fifth wheel. One of them being our old satellite. Whenever they put this in, it was directly behind the camper, this slide right here, that there was no way that we were going to be able to leave it in, and also it's just been an eyesore. These moments right here, looking back, make us realize how far we've come in the past 2 years. We were so excited whenever they came to hook this satellite up. We knew that it was one of the necessities whenever we lived out here because there's absolutely no service being in rural Louisiana. Now we have a house and Starlink.
Today is the only day that we have a chance of rain, and it's only a chance of rain between 10 and 11. So we're kind of waiting it out. As y'all can tell, it's overcast today, and we're really hoping that that rain misses us. I think that we could deal with a little bit of rain before we move this camper, but we're hoping that we don't get any. Because y'all know how much that little bit of rain makes a difference down here. So fingers crossed, we've done everything that we can as of now to get ready.
It is the next morning and we are gonna see how full we can get our black tub filled up.
Well, it looks like we have more fish than turtles today. But oh well, gotta start somewhere.
Little fella over there and a rather large fella crawling around over here.
Gotta be faster than they are, that's for sure. Almost out. they grab that. See how they grab that net with their claws? Makes it really hard to pull them out backwards. But I promise you, you don't want to pull them out from the front end.
Are you tickling the fish?
We've learned that building your dreams or simply assembling your thoughts and visions into reality. Each piece of the puzzle, when placed correctly, eventually turns into something beautiful. Sometimes you might have to try many different pieces before you find the one that fits just right. But as soon as you do, you realize it was worth all the patience and effort. And if you can't find that perfect puzzle piece, you can always get yourself a Hootis. Well, thank y'all for joining us today, Cajun family. Be sure to check back in Wednesday whenever we put this Hootis to the ultimate test.